Oh my god. 40-point Infernaut, baby. Shuri plus Infernaut. Don't leech me, son. This is just the money card, though, because we drew Shuri after the leech. Shang-Chi doesn't beat us as they go first. Easy. They have an Infernaut of their own, which gets put back into deck with Lockjaw. Oh, you silly goose. Oh! Oh, baby. Lockjaw is one of the best Series 3 cards in Marvel Snap, and right now it is better than ever. Everyone is playing Leech, and these Lockjaw decks do so well into Leech decks. It is just the perfect time to be playing Lockjaw to climb to infinite rank. I have 3 different versions of Lockjaw: a bare bones deck if you're right at the end of Series 2 and Lockjaw is your very first Series 3 card, an end of Series 3 deck, and the Omega Juicer end of Series 5, the best Lockjaw deck possible. Lockjaw is swapping any card you play into its location with a card from your deck. What that means is we want to play a cheap card into our Lockjaw lane, for example Wasp, which costs nothing, and it's going to be swapping with a card in our deck. Our decks are often going to have lots of high cost cards, like 6 and 5 cost cards, as that's going to increase the odds of our Wasp, for example, turning into a Hulk. The following cards are in all 3 versions of Lockjaw and are all Series 2 cards. Jubilee is fantastic. She synergizes very well with the similar kind of decks. Lots of high cost cards mean Jubilee is very likely to be playing for more than just 4 energy. For example, you can Jubilee into Odin, which is then going to repeat her on reveal, and then you could pull a Hulk. That's not bad for 4 energy. Furthermore, you can play her into the Lockjaw lane, and her measly 1 point is going to be swapping out for, hopefully, something like a Hulk. We are also playing Leech, the big meta card at the moment. It's really good if you can play it before turn 5 or cheat it out easily. Removing all the abilities from your opponent's hand is going to really disrupt them, and therefore it is just a great card to include in Lockjaw, because play your Lockjaw on 3, you Jubilee on 4, you might Jubilee into Leech, or you might even swap your Jubilee with Lockjaw into Leech. It's just a great card in this list. The Big Daddy, the Infernaut, unbelievable in this deck. You can Lockjaw into it, you can Jubilee into it, and also if your opponent leeches you, your Infernaut has its ability removed, which means you can play it on turn 6 just like a normal card. We're playing America Chavez. This is just a decent card which is going to be found by Jubilee and Lockjaw occasionally, but we're mainly playing her because you don't draw her until turn 6, which is increasing the odds of you drawing your Lockjaw, your Jubilee on curve. Finally, Vision might be a surprise to some of you. Does make the cut in all 3 of my Lockjaw decks. You can move Vision every turn. I really just like the flexibility of having Vision. You don't tend to play this in any other deck because you can only move it once, but you can often pull it on turn 4, move it a couple of times, be a bit bamboozling. One thing I particularly like about Vision, though, is the fact that often your Lockjaw lane with Jubilee can get full. You can just move Vision out of the lane and then play another card into your Lockjaw lane to get even more value. This is the bare bones Lockjaw deck. This has only got Series 2 and below cards and a Lockjaw. The next deck we look at is the end of Series 3. So you're going to be wanting to add some of the cards from the Series 3 into this as you get more of them. We're playing Quicksilver and Domino, one of the only decks that I recommend playing these in. And the reason for that is it just gives us some cards to play turn 1 and turn 2. You might just want to remove these. I have played in all my other Lockjaw decks. I actually just don't play any 1 or 2 cost cards. But what I like about them in this list is when we don't have access to cards like Thor and Wasp, which give us 0-point cards, Domino and Quicksilver can just be played into the Lockjaw lane. The big downside of these cards, though, is it is decreasing the odds of you drawing your Lockjaw on turn 3, which is a real problem. We've also got Storm in this deck. Storm is there because if you don't find Lockjaw on turn 3, hopefully you do find Storm, so you can play your Quicksilver, your Domino into the same lane, and then on turn 3 you can play Storm to try and secure a lane, and then you're just going to be hoping that your cards like Hulk are going to be able to do a job for you. White Tiger also in this one because pretty good with Storm. Also, you can play the 1-point Tiger, White Tiger into your Lockjaw lane, and then the 7-point Tiger goes into another lane, so that's pretty decent. And then Hulk's in there as well because it's just 12 stats. It's just pretty solid. Remember, this is the absolute bare bones version of the deck. We're now going to look at an end of pool 3 deck. This deck is much better and something you're going to want to start putting these cards in as soon as you can. This is the Series 3 Lockjaw deck. No Series 4 or 5 cards in here. We have the Wasp, the money card for Lockjaw. It does nothing. It's just 0 stats, 1 point. Why is that so good? Well, you just put it into your Lockjaw lane and bang, you get a free card. There's also a bit of a package with Wasp, which comes in the shape of Thor and Jane Foster. Thor is going to shuffle Mjolnir into your deck. This is a 0-cost hammer, which boosts Thor by 6. Again, you can play the hammer into the Lockjaw lane. And then you've got the mighty Jane Foster. who is drawing you all your 0-cost cards. What this means is we play Lockjaw on turn 3. We could play Wasp on 3 as well, putting it into the deck. We might then draw Wasp again on turn 5, put Wasp into the Lockjaw, and then play Jane Foster on turn 5, and that Wasp goes straight back into your deck, and then you draw it again with Jane Foster so you can recycle it. So you can use Wasp like up to 3 times in this deck, which can be pretty unbelievable. We also have Spider-Man. I really do love Spider-Man in these Lockjaw decks. We also have Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man in these Lockjaw decks for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you can just play Spider-Man into the Lockjaw lane on turn 5 in particular. That's going to be really nice to web up your opponent's side of the board. But it's even better at times. On turn 5, you play a Wasp into your Lockjaw lane, and then bang, Spider-Man comes out. Can make things really awkward for your opponent. I just love a bit of Spidey action for sure. I'm playing Doom, but this could easily be Magneto or any generic 6-drop of your choice. Giganto is another great card to put in there. It's just 14 stats for nothing. It's another great card against Leech as well, because suddenly you're going to be able to play it into the middle or the right lane as well as the left. And finally, we have the Omega Juicer Pool 5 Lockjaw deck, which is very similar. There is one single tweak, which is Spider-Man out and Shuri in. Come on, this fucking site, man. Come on. Don't piss me off, mate. Sorry, mate. Shuri is a series, Paul. Shuri is a Series 5 card. She's going to cost you 6,000 collector tokens, which is a lot. But you might high roll her. She's 100 times rarer than Series 3 cards in the collection tree, so you might get her early. She doubles the power of the next card you play. This is pretty ridiculous in Lockjaw decks because you can play her on turn 4 into your Lockjaw, and then next card you play, let's say Vision, is then going to double its stats, and then she's going to go back into your deck so you could find her again later. But equally, you could play Wasp into Shuri on turn 5, and then on turn 6, you could play your Giganto for 28 stats. Pretty unbelievable. Any card in Lockjaw decks which is putting points into other lanes is really good, because often you can win your Lockjaw lane, but you're going to struggle winning another one, and Shuri is so good at doing that. The only reason we don't have Spider-Man in this one is because Shuri and Spider-Man were just clashing. They're both 4-cost, low power, doing not a similar thing, very different things, but often you want a Spider-Man on 5 and you want a Shuri on 4, so Spider-Man didn't quite feel right. I think Magneto is, again, the big consideration instead of Dr. Doom in this one, as he does have a bit more synergy with Shuri. And also pulling 3-cost cards into your Lockjaw lane is probably not a bad thing, as you're often winning that location by a bunch of points anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this format of intro where I broke down 3 different versions of the deck. Like the video if you did, and subscribe for more Marvel Snap content. Sequencing, because this is where we get the Wasp back as well. This is insane. Jesus! Pretty convincing. It's a world ship. Let's have it. Hopefully we can pull off the Shuri Infinite. Also, we can play Giganto. Thor is pretty bad, but we have a limited amount of cards we can even play. Interestingly, Jubilee's been really bad in this deck. Maybe Jubilee's actually the cut. I've actually never been a huge fan of Jubilee in these decks. She seems like she should. Okay, maybe I take that back. Face the light of Asgard. Jubilee could hit Hammer, could hit Wasp. I guess we're just going Jane. Is it ever better to skip an Infinite? No, it's literally better to go Vision Giganto. I should have snapped already, right? We managed to play around the Shang-Chi. Unfortunately, I didn't play around them conceding, but they don't.
To me. Victory.
I'm not drawing the money card, but still. I've had worse final plays. And they snap on us, so thanks to the 8 cubes, there's just no way we're ever losing. I refuse to believe. Yeah, this was a really bad leader. 56? 56 point gigantos, mate. Jesus. Nice leader, dude. Very epic. So Shuri is countering leader. Alright, let's get the Hawkeye down. Some hand space. It does work if they don't have initiative. Right, are you sure? What card do you hate most? It's not leader, it's Mr. Negative. By far, I flipping hate that card. With all my heart. I don't really want to Lockjaw the same, so let's just do this, I guess. Does Shuri work with the bald times 2 times reveal? You mean Wong? Yeah. Oh, Wang. Yeah, Wong. Yeah, and we can just keep the Swarm to cycle with Lockjaw later. Oh lord. We got absolutely rock slided on. Don't give me the rocks. No. Get leeched. Nice. No rocks for you, bruv. Jane Foster gives us another Wasp. Just thins the deck, right? Helps, improves the odds of us drawing the rocks that we so desperately want. Cap. We could Spider-Man Lockjaw lane, but it's just excessive, right? We just Spider-Man somewhere else. Nice.
Victory.
We got flipping leeched on. Good thing we got an Infinite. Shuri mid just seems like the play of choice. Giganto into the throne room. Just because we can, eh? Yo, this deck is cracked, no? We don't give a shoot about Leech. In fairness, we keep drawing flipping Shuri at the right moment. Madness.
Victory.
So you have a decision if we want to Thor or Lockjaw first. Usually it's Lockjaw. If you have Jane Foster in hand, and if you don't have Jane Foster in hand, it's maybe Thor. It also depends on like what your curve is looking like. Most of the time, it's Lockjaw though. Yeah, we have the Jubilee, so it's definitely... Jubilee actually looks good into Death's Domain. As does Vision. We can snap it. I used to judge people who move their mouse really slowly in Hearthstone, but I imagine they prevent that type of thing happening. Right. I didn't know you could see your opponent's mouse in Hearthstone. You could in Gwent too.
Wind
but you can't.
my hand.
Kind of. We just don't really care about Stormlane still. We could try and win it with Jubilee, but I figure like... Ah, mate, we've got the Doom as well. Like, we're just so juiced. We need to hit them with the... Ah! So they think we're losing? Well, secretly, we're not losing. So, interestingly, Vision is actually kind of screwed by this. Because... Yeah, I can't Vision anywhere. Question is if I Jubilee. I think we just Jubilee right still. And Doctor Doom's popping off on this board. Okay, Wong is very, very scary. This is where Spider-Man would have been popping off. So we kicked for Doom. Leech, that is flipping nice. There's not the most stats in the lane, but we don't really care. Easy Shuri. Shuri is so good. Is it an easy Shuri? I guess it is. Shuri doesn't really do anything for us because the card I play is just gonna go away. So maybe it's better to... whatever. This Leech seemed like it was insane actually. Okay, they somehow didn't get leeched on White Tiger because they top decked it last second. Does Doom clutch up for us? I think we have to hit them with the R. Ah! We were just talking about Doom maybe not being the money card, and here he comes. Surely the hand is Leech. They top deck White Tiger last turn. I don't which plays Storm and Wong. I would highly recommend playing Chavez. Good deck building opponent. I respect it. Unfortunately, you lose. So this is why it was like Shuri was probably incorrect, and it should have been Vision, just because I might end up with more stats. We just aren't getting that many cubes because we lose the surprise value.
All systems go.
Spectrum still a card. Card that we beat. Oh, the Wasp is bad plan! No! Let me cancel! Let me cancel! Wasp was most likely Leech, but they could, Spectrum, they could have still drawn it since. Sorry, yeah, Spectrum is most likely Leech, you're right. Let me cancel the minus 5-point Wasp. It's just BM. Guys, we're BMing them. I'm flexing on them. It's a flex.
Victory.
What's this title? Superflow is good for us. Just for the early Leech, although the mana curve here is looking disastrous. Hello Thor, or Lockjaw. So we could Shuri on 3 and Infinite on 5. There he is. Gotta snap to that. You've just got to snap to that, ladies and gents. Ooh, they snap back. So we could leech them. We could doom them. Kinda like the doom line, I guess. Does mean that we're into Superflow, but I don't think it matters. Maybe we just leech them actually, right? Let's leech them still. Okay, the leech bow is definitely nice. Unfortunately, the hand is not looking so nice. Shuri is the money card, of course. I guess we just go Shuri Chavez, it should win. Could pass Infinite as well. Pass Infinite is just 20 stats, Shuri Chavez is more stats, but less surprise. And we actually have to play for the stats, right? Because also, like, Infinite's not really that much of a surprise. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. Destroyer. Pretty good anti-play. I guess we go Jubilee to the left in case we hit Lockjaw. We don't want it in here. Don't hit the hammer. Oh, baby. Jubilee, stop that. Vision into Shrews. Yeah, see ya.
Victory.
There's gotta be a snap, mate. We could have held on to Wasp here just because we might want to Jubilee the old Lockjaw. I tend not to like slamming Jubilee when there's like Wasp and stuff in the deck. It can end up really bad Jubilee play. Okay. So the decision here is, do we Leech or do we Jane Foster? It's got to be Leech, right? See, I wasn't even expecting the Galactus, I've got to be honest. Oh, snap! We never have music. There will still be music streams, mate. I'm just doing some YouTube recording and stuff at the minute. So we're in a similar spot to where we were last time, where we could... Shuri Chavez is more points. It's actually the same amount of points. It's 20 points. Holding Infinite for last plays. Same. It's better against Shang-Chi. The Infinite plays better against Shang-Chi, right? We can't do Shuri Infinite unless they leech us, but they're not going to. Shuri Chavez is literally the same amount of points as just playing Infinite, right? Destroyer's 15 points now, right?
Victory.
They nerfed it. It used to be 16, that's 15.